we may feel like, we're kind of powerless. We may feel like, that the situations and circumstances and the people, places, and things and the systems that are in place have more control over our next level than we do. But I beg to differ. And we're going to talk about that this evening a little bit. I actually want to speak, I want to use the quote, evolve or repeat. That's the quote that I want to use, evolve or repeat. I'm streaming live in a couple of other places. And so I want to make sure that we are vibing out. Mina, what up, what up, what up? Thanks for tapping in. Appreciate you. So, again, we're going to talk about evolve or repeat. That's what we're going to talk about on this evening, evolve or repeat. So, again, thinking about growth, right? One of the things you'll often hear me talk about is next level, your next level, our next level. What am I talking about? I'm talking about growth. I'm talking about us stepping into a higher expression of ourselves. That's essentially what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about us embodying all the things that we desire, creating the life that we want to live, right? Not just drifting downstream, but instead, grabbing the oars and rowing and guiding our lives in the way that we want to take our lives. And so one of the things that we have to understand is that our lives, we've lived a series of lifetimes, so to speak, right? We've embodied several different identities. There have been several different versions of us. And I'm not trying to be deep or woo-woo. Just think about it. At one point, let's just do it in a simple way. At one point, you were a middle schooler, right? And, that was one identity. And then you went on to high school. That's a totally different ball game. And even in high school, when you stepped in as a freshman, right, that was one version of you. But then when you came back that next year, that was a different version of you. And then that next year, and then when you were big man, big woman on campus as a senior, right, that's a totally different version of you. So you're evolving, you're growing, you're shedding that old skin, and you're developing new habits, new rituals, new mindsets, new ways of thinking, and you're discarding some of the old stuff, right? You're not allowing the old stuff. You weren't acting like a sixth grader when you were a 10th grader, right? I'm hoping, right? For the most part anyway, right? There's some rules about being a 10th grader that you adopted, that you stepped into. Some of them were forced upon you, right? Based on the rules. And a lot of the other ones were set up by the system, were set up by your peers, right? Were set up by the 10th graders that came before you. Either way, you grew into a different expression of yourself. You grew into a different version of yourself. You grew into, as I like to say, a higher expression of yourself. You continue to evolve. You continue to evolve. And then when you finish school, whatever the next phase of life was for you, you morphed into something else, right? And then you morphed into something else. For me, I was that middle schooler running around, and the next thing you know, I was a high schooler. And then next thing you know, my high school experience, believe it or not, I would go to school. I did this all 4 years. I would go to school in the fall, and I would do just enough to pass so that I could hoop. I would hoop and then stop going to class. And then by the time the next report card came out, basketball season was about done. So I literally did that for 4 years. I was literally able to do that, right? That's a whole nother story that we can unpack. But I literally just kind of was out here in the wind, figuring out life on my own, even at that young age, just making goofy choices, right? But to God be the glory, I survived it all and I'm standing here. But the point I'm making is, once I was done that 4th year, I had no more eligibility now, so might as well go ahead and drop out. So I never returned to school. And then, so I went from half student / ball player to all the way in the streets, ripping and running, doing some goofy things, making some goofy choices. get myself involved in some things. So I morphed into a whole different version of me, a dangerous version of me. God. And so I embodied that for a period of time. And then things got real spicy around the way, and and Philly started getting a little hectic, and I needed an out. So I went to the military. I joined the Army. I don't know if y'all know I was in the Army for a little while. So I went in the Army. So when I went in the Army, I got shipped off to, actually before I went in the Army, I went to Job Corps to try to get away. Went to Job Corps, only stayed for like 2 months, took the GED test when I got the Job Corps, passed that. Didi, what up? Passed that. We're talking about evolve or repeat, sis. That's what we're talking about tonight. So we're talking about the different identities that we went through. So anyway, so then from Job Corps, that was one version of me. I was ripping and running. I was hustling up Job Corps, doing all kinds of goofy stuff, getting into fights. They would have city battles up there. There was a lot of DC cats up there and a lot of Philly cats. And then there was some Pittsburgh and some other little spots sprinkled up there, but it was heavy Philly versus DC. So, you know, they didn't like us because we wore the bright colors and the polo shirts and we buttoned our top button. And we had issues with them because they wore the slouch socks and they vibed out with they played the drums on the on the benches and the buckets in the what's the thing called, in the gym. Anyway, so that was another version of me, right? Then Job Corps was getting tight. I was just dodged the bullet there. Of course, God had a plan for me. So I said, screw it, I'm going to the Army. You know, we were playing around on Broad Street. And now it's a new fancy building. Now I don't know what it is, but right there, Broad and Cherry, right? My Philly people know what I'm talking about. And I'm moving up. Appreciate you. Salute. And that caught me off guard. Thank you. And so we coming down Broad Street. We were literally going up to the sub. We wanted to get on at the next stop because we knew the bar was bent, so we could slide through the bar. We didn't have to pay. So we were doing that. We went past the recruiting center, and it was like, And we literally walked in. It was three or four of us, and we had some conversations. I'm the only one that actually saw it through. So then I was like, I want to leave as soon as possible. So maybe 2-3 weeks later, yeah, I'm gone. They shipped me off down here to Georgia, to Fort Benning. So I spent 17 weeks at Fort Benning doing what? Evolving into another version of me. Now I'm a soldier, right? Now I'm learning all of these different things. I'm learning a whole totally new version of me, a whole totally new identity I was embodying, right? Then I left basic training and I went to Fort Hood, Texas. Right, that was my first station. I went down there, and as soon as I arrived, I turned 21. I turned 21 like a week after I landed there. So it was just like, I'm a big boy. I can buy the alcohol. You know what I mean? I wanted to get carded. You know how 20 was. Now that's a different version of me because I was restricted going through the training, but then now it's out here and it's like, oh, this is freedom. So now it's just. Oh, now I'm in the Army. Yeah, but I just go to work every day. Oh, go to PT in the morning, go back, shower, freshen up, change, then do that. And then, there's another. So now there's another version of me because it's not the same version that just went through the 17 weeks of basic training. Now there's another version of me evolving and I'm growing into. Hope y'all following. I hope you're going through your own timeline because this is going to make sense in a minute. And so I went through that period. And then I figured out, this is not for me. All these rules and regulations and these weirdos trying to tell me what to do and all the things. And so I stopped showing up for work. And then I decided, let me tell you how crazy I was. I decided I had my little apartment. I went to U-Haul, wrote a bad check. And I had the U-Haul truck with the little hitch, threw my little Honda Civic on the back. And I drove from Fort Hood, Texas, back to Philly. Oh my God, that was a maniac. So then I got back to the city, parked the U-Haul, got my stuff out of there, unpacked that. I'm moving, I'm getting some stuff together, grabbed the wheel. Now I'm back in the streets with it. It's a whole nother version of me, right? Now I'm back in the mix. And now I'm like, mind you, I AWOL out. So now, I'm ripping and running and I'm doing all the things. And then during this time, I had discovered the ministry, but I was kind of still pulling away. And I was like, that's interesting. But I wasn't quite in there yet. And I was speaking with some things. I was running the streets. And then I was on a corner at 46 in Baltimore is a little block called Melville. I was standing on the corner of Melville. Cops pull up from both sides. They run up on us. And I was clean at that second, thankfully, but I had my military ID still in my pocket because I was using it to get all the discounts and all the cool stuff. And the dude that gripped me up, the police officer, shout out to him, man, salute you. He ran my information. I promise, just stay with me. He ran my information and he was like, let me see something. Of course, I didn't have any warrants or anything in the city, but so then he checked, he ran it through the Fed system. And he came back out there. He was just so excited. He was a former Marine, so that's why he made the military connection. So he was like, "Oh, you have a federal warrant, sir." And everybody like, oh, I knew what it was, right? Everybody just like, "What, Reese? What you did?" So I get snatched up. They take me down. I spend a few hours. The federal marshals come get me. They shackled me up. I got the shackles on. And they drive me over to Jersey to whatever that base is over in Jersey, Fort Dix, something, whatever it is. And so they take me over there. You see Life Evolve, you see these different versions of me. So they take me over there, and then they like, do you want to go back to work and just pick up where you left off? Pay a little fines or whatever, and get back to it. Or do you want out? I'm like, I was in the streets. I was good. For that I was good, right? So I'm like, no, I want out. So this is what you got to do. So they put me on a plane. It was a bunch of us. They put us on a flight. Now, at that point, once I got to Fort Dix, I was out of the cuffs and I was just normal, just chilling. But it was dramatic how they got me there. Flew down to Fort Knox, Kentucky. Flew down to Fort Knox and spent like 3 days there, going through processing and paperwork and blah blah blah. Got out, got on a Greyhound back to the city with my other than honorable paperwork, and now I'm in the streets, ripping and running, doing these things and growing. And then now I'm doing some other things. And so all of this is happening. And then I get into the church. And my other son is, my son is born. And then I go into the church. And now I'm evolving into another version of me. Now I'm like, oh, there's different, there's better. I want to do this, right? And so I'm evolving. I'm constantly evolving. And I'm growing. And so even just now, what I described, that was like 8 different versions of me, right? Then I was on the fence for a long time, right? I was trying to live right, but I was still running the streets a little bit. And I was trying to get myself together, but I was still ripping, you know what I mean? I got caught up, got locked up a couple times and all the blah, 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 blah. Then I finally made the decision, like, enough's enough. I'm all in. Now I'm all in the ministry, right? Now I cut everything else off. And this is another version of me. Right now, I'm growing in the ministry and I'm learning and I'm making connections. And now, fast forward, I'm serving. Then I'm a leader. First I'm a youth leader. Then I'm a deacon in the church, but I'm leading the youth. Then I'm responsible for the teenagers. Right. Then it's like, hey, we want you to be a minister in training. So I did that for a long time, and I'm evolving, and I'm growing. Right. And each phase of that was a different version of me. And for the most part, I didn't consciously choose or set my intention to do these things. For the most part, life just kind of forced itself on me. Now, fast forward, I won't go through the next 20 phases, right? But now, fast forward, I understand that, okay, evolution is a normal part of the process. I understand that I'm going to go through multiple phases or multiple versions of myself. And now it's my responsibility to consciously evolve into the man that I desire to be. Now it's your responsibility to evolve into the man or woman that you desire to be. It's your responsibility to set your intention, to focus on what it is that you want and start thinking, speaking, and acting in a manner that's going to move you in the direction of becoming the person that you want to become. Evolution. And what's happening with a lot of us, we're stuck, we're stagnant. I love that word. Thank you. We're stuck. And it's because some of us are refusing to evolve. We're refusing to go to that next level. We're talking ourselves out of growth. We're talking ourselves out of development. We're talking ourselves out of our own dreams and desires. You have your eye on something. That thing calls out to you every day, and you refuse to move in the direction of that thing. And you're going through struggles and experiencing pain And we keep repeating these goofy cycles because we refuse to evolve. We refuse to let some things go. We refuse to allow this next version of us to step forward for fear of what? See, we're at the place now, most of us, life isn't forcing itself on us, right? When you were in sixth grade, you got pushed on to the seventh grade. I'm a man of a certain age, so I remember when they had the rule where if you got left back once, you couldn't get left back twice. So they were pushing you on through. No child left behind or some weird stuff, right? So growth was forced upon us. When you went from elementary to middle school, you were forced to grow up. Oh, I got a locker. What's that mean? I changed classes. Whoa, this is a different world. And you were forced to grow up and adjust. Then as you navigated that, then on to height, and then the life, right? You kept moving, and you got to a certain age, and depending on your household, some of y'all hit 18, and somebody said, bye-bye. Or somebody said they turned off the faucet, and you had to start figuring out life as if 18 has anything figured out. I don't know who taught us that genius thing, but we'll get to that another day. But evolution, for the most part, it was forced upon us. But now I'm challenging you to evolve on purpose. Oh, I don't think I've ever said it like that. Thank you. To evolve on purpose, to set your intention on evolving, on the evolution, on moving yourself to the next level. That's the challenge. Decide what it is you want, right? Decide what it is you want, and then ask yourself, who do I need to become in order to make that my reality? Think about that for a second. And if you don't have to become a higher expression of yourself, if you don't have to change, then that goal, that's too small. And that's why you're frustrated. That's why you're stuck. That's why things aren't happening. Because you're not aiming big enough. Your goal should require you to evolve into a higher expression of yourself. And then again, you have to ask the question, who do I need to become in order to embody that? Who do I need to become in order to live there? Who do I need to become in order to drive that? Who do I need to become to have that happy, healthy relationship? Who do I need to become to be the mom that I want to be? Who do I need to become to be the father that I want to be? Who do I need to become to be the brother that I want to be? Who do I need to become to take my life to the level that I know is possible, but I haven't quite, right? Good evening, family. I haven't quite adopted that mindset of, I get to evolve on purpose. I can't wait for life to push me. I can't wait for life to force itself on me, because you reach a point where society is set up to where if you want to stay stuck, have at it. Have at it. So most of us are at that point. I don't have to grow. I don't have to go to the next level. I don't have to do these things. Life isn't forcing itself on me. It's not forcing growth on me. And so most of us are stuck, and we keep telling ourselves these goofy stories about why we're fine just where we are. And it's a lie, because we're hurting on the inside. We have a burning desire to do more, to have more, to become more. But we refuse to take the necessary steps. And then we wonder why we keep repeating these same goofy cycles. We wonder why the last 6 New Years have been the same. We got the same exact goal, not the same, but a higher version of it, right? Not my own place, a better place, not my own place, right? A better place. Buy a place, buy a better place. Not as always the place, right? But we still on that side, because we're refusing to allow ourselves. No, we're refusing to impose growth upon ourselves. Allow sounded too cute. We do need to allow ourselves. We need to give ourselves permission. But what I'm saying is we need to impose our will on ourselves. You need to be forcing you to grow. You need to be arguing with yourself about growth the same way you would do your child, same way you would do someone that you care about. You wouldn't just allow them to settle for less. Well, why are you allowing you to settle for less? And you're frustrated frustrated because you keep repeating the same cycle over and over. Why am I so? Why is this? Why is that? What I'm saying is, it's time to evolve. It's time to evolve. It's time to try something different. Your way got you this far. You got to lean in. You got to try something different. You got to give yourself permission to grow. Give yourself permission to invest the time, energy, effort, money, whatever it takes to help you move to the next level. You got somewhere to go. And time is just a ticking. What's the day? My phone. It's the 17th. Listen, it's the 17th. And it's 8:50 p.m. This joint around where I'm at on the East Coast, right? This thing about done. So we have to understand that if we do not intentionally evolve, then we're going to continue to repeat the same cycles over and over again. And we're just going to get more and more frustrated. And there's no one to blame but us. We have to take full responsibility for our lives. We have to take full responsibility for our evolution. My next level is up to me. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your push. Thank you for your encouragement. But my next level is up to me. If I don't, you can clap, cheer, you can encourage, you can plant seeds, you can do all the things. But if I don't make the decision to show up for myself, exactly, and walk through that door and take the risk. Thank you, brother. If I don't do that, then it's for naught. You can plant all the seeds you want. I have to decide. Same thing on your end. You can do all the things, but if you don't do all the things, right? You can have all the things, but if you don't execute, if you don't force your will upon yourself, if you don't put a demand on yourself to grow and go to the next level, then you get exactly what right? You get exactly what. We can't be out here like frustrated and upset that we're not reaping the benefits of the work we refuse to put in. Let me see what my sis talking about. She always dropping bombs. We got to learn how to quickly recover from perceived failure. Fear got us in a chokehold. Let's talk about that. Right? Bro said, take the risk. And then my sister said, we got to learn how to quickly recover from perceived failure. See, you got to watch her. Perceived failure, right? Fear got us in the chokehold. And she even said, got us on purpose, right? Fear got us in the chokehold because we have a poor relationship with failure. Failure is your friend. If you think about what happens if you change your relationship with failure, what is failure? Just data. It's just feedback. Will Smith said something a few years ago, and I'm telling you, every time I think about it, he talked about practice being controlled failure. See, when you're practicing, it's a given. You're allowed to fail when you're practicing. Just think about that. And just think about the freedom that okay, and what if you're just practicing? What if every attempt, right? What is it if not that? It's the real thing, but it's also you perfecting, you trying things, you getting that data, getting that feedback. And some of us think we're going. And what happens is, to her point, we'll try it, or we'll halfway try it, and then let me put it like this. Well, what ends up happening, to her point, right, is we won't believe that we can really do it, right? Our potential is through the roof. We have limitless potential, but our belief is shaky. And so because our belief is shaky, right, when we actually do make an attempt, we make a shaky attempt. And then we get crappy results that we perceive as failure. And then what happens is our mind says, see, I told you. See what happened? Because the belief was shaky, which made the attempt shaky, which made the results shaky. And then the shaky results The shaky results basically was a self-fulfilling prophecy from the shaky beliefs. So we have to change our relationships, right? We have to change our beliefs. And to this point, we have to change our relationship with how we navigate through life. Most of us have this goofy, shaky belief system, and then we give shaky attempt. Well, I tried. Well, I did it once. I posted 4 videos, and I ain't got 1 million followers yet. Really? Right? And then we perceive that as failure. But there was no belief or intention behind that try, and the try reflected an attempt with not much belief or intention behind it. And then the results, and then in our mind, it's like, see, I knew it. And it's you're signing off on your own, and then you keep going through that goofy cycle. So we got to break that up. We have to change our relationship with how we navigate through these things. So we have to change our belief system. We have to change our relationship with failure. Let's see. She said, take that, exactly. Take that step, scared out of your mind and thrive. Exactly. Do it scared. Do it anyway. That's what courage is. That's what courage is. Doing it anyway. Doing it shaking. It doesn't matter. Listen, I've stood up to speak, voice shaking, perspiring. Look, eyes watering, nervous as hell. But you got to keep going. You got to keep going. You just have to keep going. And what you'll notice is people that get it, they rally around you. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. Now I can go stand at the stadium and talk until they snatch the mic from me. That wasn't always the case, but I didn't see it as failure. I saw it as, okay, good. Watch this, right? I brought my athletic mindset into the situation. You have to find your thing, right? Because I never backed down from a challenge when it came to hooping. I never backed down. So I'm not going to back down from a challenge, especially with something that I know I can figure out, something I know I can do. Because if it can be done, then I can do it. But I have to train myself to believe that and give myself permission to try. Forget who's looking, face forward and grind. Exactly. Whoa, this thing just jumped. I can't become a safe place for many. You actually look for things to confirm our disbelief all the time. All the time. We're so good at that. And it's like, no, let's look for things to, right? Let's fight against that. How do you fight against that? Action. Action is the cure-all. Start doing the thing. Try it. Try something different. Get so active and busy and intentional about evolving into that next version of you, understanding that what you're doing is you're creating an entirely new identity. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be simple. You're not just going to casually go from this version of you no. You're going to have to fight and scratch and claw because, again, there's no societal system set up to move you at this point. You're not in school anymore. And so they're not just bumping you up to the next grade because you did the bare minimum. That's not happening. And so now we have to decide that we're going to give ourselves permission to fight and to do the thing anyway. And to show up for ourselves, show ourselves some love, show ourselves some appreciation. Believe that whatever is possible for me. And believe that those hopes, those dreams, those goals, those desires that I have inside of me were given to me intentionally. And they're mine to bring forward. So I have to figure it out. And I have to adopt the belief that everything is figure outable. No, I don't know how to do it. But I know how to figure it out. I believe that I can learn what I need to learn, go where I need to go, and do what I need to do so that I can become the person that I need to become. That's a belief system. Where does that come from? Giving myself permission to evolve, to consciously evolve, to pursue evolution. Keeping my eyes on that understanding that there's a higher expression of me available. There's a next level available for me. When? All the time. I always say it. The top of my mountain, the mountain I'm presently climbing, is the foot of my next mountain. So I get to spend my life climbing mountains and growing and becoming better and better and better. How often? Every freaking day. You can climb a couple mountains in a day if you so choose. Really? Yes. You could have woke up this morning with one belief system, read something, heard something, learned something, made a connection, shed that skin, embodied something different, walked through the world that way, then heard a song, made another connection, and then stepped into something else, right? Then this evening, sat down, boom, had a conversation, something connected, then jumped on here, and then boom, 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 and then now just in this day, you done climbed 3-4 mountains. I know you're tired, as you should be. You're growing, you're evolving. You're becoming a higher expression of you. Like, think about that. So we have to evolve lest we continue to repeat these same cycles and continue to be upset with ourselves and frustrated and trying to look for someone to blame and something to blame No, our lives are our responsibility. Mina said, fight your way through. Your ultimate desire and destiny will meet you. I was on here the other day talking about that, those belief systems. We have to believe that to be true. We have to believe that to be true. We have to actually have a desire. We have to want something for ourselves. And once we identify that we do want something for ourselves and we begin to move in that direction, right, then we have to change our identity so that we can become the person we need to become, so that we can morph into that. It's not just us, copy and paste it, planted in the future. It's me, but it's a totally different version of me. This version of me and the me 10 years ago, and he was pretty sharp. But we don't have much in common. Past the surface stuff, the way he handled things, the way he processed information, his level of communication, his level of sophistication, his level of knowledge, his level of wisdom, his level of conducting himself, he was decent. But he couldn't take a meeting for me today. He couldn't stand in. If I needed a breather, right? If I needed a breather, right? I'm a little tired. 10 years ago, me, take my coaching calls for today while I relax. He'd be done butchered the whole thing. Because he's not me, right? Because you're expecting me. You're expecting now, and he was cool, and he could probably fumble through it, but he can't dance the way I can dance. He can't bring that information the way I bring it. He can't filter through and process what you're giving me and hear what you're actually saying. He didn't have that power to sift through what's really going on and piece something together and break it down and put it in language that you can understand and help you to transform instantly like I can. That's a skill that's been developed over this last decade, and he hasn't been a part of that. So for you, as you stand right now, you're awesome. But 5 years from now, oh, no. This version of you can't walk in her shoes. No, this version of you, no. That version of you can mentor this version of you, but this version of you can't. No, so you got to level up. You got to work on yourself. Mentally, emotionally, physically, you got to work on yourself. You got to develop. If you want to grow, if you want to evolve and become a higher expression of you, if you want to reach those deepest desires that Sis just talked about, if you really want to make it happen, and if you don't, well, I'm not even going to say that, because people that hang with me, they don't even think like that. People that hang with me are in pursuit of their next level. So now we have to give ourselves permission to evolve. And not only permission, we have to set our intention on evolution. I got somewhere to be. I got things to do. Start with your no and your yes. The things you say yes and no to are going to guide you. Those are weapons. Those are tools. Like the things you say yes to, the things you say no to, they guide your life. Start there. if it's not moving you in the direction that you need to go, and if you're not sure, use this little trick I picked up along the way. If someone makes an offer, or if there's something positioned in front of you, and maybe this is helpful, maybe not. My heart says yes, but I don't know. This might slow me down. It's either if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. If it's not a oh yes, let's do it, it's a no. If it's let me see what the missus got going on, and make sure the kids don't have any, and no. Because if it's a hell yes, we can maneuver all that around, because I need to do that. Because I felt it in my spirit. Right? Sometimes we allow things to pull on our heartstrings. That productive procrastination, those healthy distractions, right? I know I need to be sitting down writing my book, but it's all these dishes in the sink. They'll be there in an hour after you start writing. But anyway, Alanya, I think I'm saying that right. Well, listen here. I'm not sure what's going on with you, but you don't have to be disappointed in yourself. You're in the right place. And if you truly want help, there's a lot of love in this room. And if you really, really want help, then come on, get connected. Send me a message saying I'm ready, and we'll make it happen. Yeah, we're past that. We're past that. I so agree with that. Use your yes and no to God. Exactly. Most yeses, right? We just gonna sign up for everything. We just gonna say yeah, and it feels good, right? What's that scripture? I'm not quoting it, but I'm in the ballpark. Everything is good, but maybe not expedient. That could be a good thing, but it's not the thing. It's not the thing for right now. That's not what God is saying. And just because it's something positive, no, you already have an assignment. You have a mission. You need to be moving in the direction that you need to move. I know their car broke down over there and you want to stop and help them, but no, you got to keep going. Say a prayer. God will send someone, because you need to continue at this particular pace, because when you do get off 4 exits up, I got something for you at that gas station. And if you stop with your kind-hearted self, if you stop, you're disobedient, and you're going to miss what I have for you 4 exits up at that gas station. And worse off, I was going to use you to encourage someone 4 exits up at that gas station, but you were out of place, and now that person didn't get that shot of encouragement that they needed. Anywho, any questions? Any questions? Yes, we have to say no to get focused. Exactly. All right. Any questions? Let me swipe over. If I missed your comment, I just missed it. We ain't beefing. I love you. You're in the right place, young lady. Stay connected. If you're ready to work on it, reach out to me. We can work on it. I can definitely help you navigate that process. Make sure you go back through the different content that I post. I speak to these things all the time, but if you're ready to work, let's do it. I'm here to help. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's funny. I had another quote I wanted to talk about, but I started thinking about that, and I was like, wow, we've had a dozen identities already. We've had more than that. I just pulled a number out of the sky. We've had many, many, many identities. There have been many, 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 many versions of you. And there's a point where, society stopped imposing its will on us and forcing us to evolve, and it became up to us. And that's where we started to get messed up. I had a coaching call today, and the young lady, she told me something. Oh my goodness. I just need to know what to do. Can you just tell me what to do? And I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. She's like, I know. She said she has a little running joke, I like to call it, with God and her prayers. And she's like, I know you gave us free will, but I don't really want it. I just want you to tell me what to do and how to do it, and I'll just listen. And I'm like, that take all the fun and excitement out of life. You got to figure this thing out. All right, I don't see any questions. So anyway, I appreciate y'all support. Thanks for tapping in with me. Thanks for the likes and the shares and all the things. Thanks for the new folks that tapped in. Appreciate y'all. Listen, if you're ready to go to the next level, you're ready to get out of your own way, and you're just trying to figure out how to, how to navigate through that particular thing, or if you need some help, like if only there was someone that could, right? Don't be sitting here like, man, I need it, and never reach out. It's time to go up. Like, we don't know how many more January 17th we have. We got to start living like we got to start taking ourselves more seriously. You're not going to be able to evolve into that next level, right? Into that higher expression of you, tiptoeing and taking your time and overthinking like all the things that you've already identified were challenges. Like, it's time to go. Put some time, energy, effort, and money into overcoming those things, because you're counting on you. Start doing some things. Start making some decisions that future you is going to be proud of. Future you is going to thank you for. But we got some growth to do. That dream you want, that thing that's in front of you, this version of you is, this version of you can't, this version of you can't walk in her shoes. This version of me can't stand in his shoes. So I got to keep getting myself, every day I have to keep forcing myself to grow, forcing myself to embody my next level, forcing myself to learn, forcing myself to evolve into a higher expression of myself, right? Evolve is to develop gradually, especially from a simple to a more complex form. Ooh, we'll be on here another hour unpacking that definition, right? From a simple to a more complex form. This is a more complex version of me than me 10 years ago, but in 10 years. Anyway, you're welcome, sis. Thank you. Thanks for tapping in. Thanks for the comments and pushing the conversation forward, keeping it positive. I truly, truly appreciate y'all good peoples. All right, I'm out of this joint. I see y'all good peoples tomorrow for sure. Appreciate y'all. Oh, shoot.